Hey everybody, welcome back to CineFlex. My name is Manny,
I'm Juan.
and today we're going to give you guys our review on The Five Bloods. But yeah, The Five Bloods, directed by Spike Lee. At first, I thought it was going to be like more of a war movie, especially because of the trailer. That every time I scrolled over it on Netflix,
Yeah, when you send it to me, I thought it was a war movie.
yeah, I thought it was a war movie, and then I didn't know anything about it, and I just decided to read the synopsis while I was watching it because I noticed. But when it started, and it starts off as we're following these older African Americans. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's going to be told by in flashbacks. And then I was like, oh, let me just look it up. What is the movie about? And then I realized it's about them looking for some gold. And I was like, okay, cool. But it did have flashbacks in it about the war. So it's just basically about a group of friends that were in the Vietnam War, group of black friends, and they lost their friend during the Vietnam War. And they found some gold during that time, and now they're back in Vietnam, present day, going to go get the gold that they left. And that's pretty much it. And I think that's the issue I have with this movie, because yeah, it's a good story, but it not saying it out loud, it kind of sounds a little basic, which why I thought he tried to throw in some other like important messages throughout the movie, because I mean he does show a little bit about other stuff, which I guess it feels like he just was focused more on those little messages rather than to give a good story, you know.
Yeah.
The movie does clock in at like almost 3 hours, right? Probably maybe like 2 hours,
I think.
2.5. Yeah, it feels almost 3 hours. I did read that because those actors that played the well, they played the older and the younger versions themselves. I never heard about those actors. I don't think I've seen them before.
I've seen like one.
Maybe the one main guy, the one that has
The guy
PTSD.
that played Paul or something.
The guy who had PTSD, right?
Huh?
With the MAGA hat. The crazy one, right?
Yeah, that's with the MAGA.
That one doesn't look familiar. But the others, they didn't look familiar to me.
Yeah, the one of them, the chubby one, he was in in the Black Klansman, but like in the very beginning.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
He was one of the ones interviewing him, and I don't recognize the other ones.
I don't recognize him. But yeah, so I thought I was like, I mean, when thinking it's Spike Lee, you would think that he would get like other, like A-list celebrities, maybe like Samuel Jackson, Morgan Freeman, or I don't know if Morgan Freeman was too old.
Okay.
But I did look it up, and they were the ones tied into this movie at first. It was Samuel Jackson. What's his name again? Who's War Machine? Don Cheadle.
Oh yeah.
And some others. So those are the ones that were originally thought for the movie, but I don't know what happened. It just said that he decided to go with these guys. And I don't know. I would think that now thinking about it with Samuel Jackson and them, I think that would have helped the movie just a little bit more, because I feel like they would bring more of a they just bring what they usually bring in every movie. They have that I mean, not to say that these didn't show any camaraderie in them, but you can tell they were friends. But I don't know. I would have rather seen like Samuel Jackson and like Don Cheadle and a group of others. I mean, especially it would have been nice to hear Samuel Jackson like curse throughout this movie. Just hearing his voice saying some of this dialogue, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so the movie it didn't really captivate me that much. I mean, it had some interesting parts. It just he had some important things. He said some important messages there throughout the movie. I mean, he obviously made the guy who was crazy and just someone who's not right in the head, gave him a MAGA hat, and then that's pretty much his mirror to like society today. He brings a lot of what society. I mean, he did that in Black Klansman. He brings a lot of things that can relate, that are relatable now in his movies.
Yeah, they I think they were trying to like, especially with him, I guess. Not especially, but a lot of what do you call it? Like you said, like a lot of issues, he kind of like just threw them out there, like really quick, like because there was like parts when they would show them basically, or he like really addressed them, and then there was times when they would like talk about how cheated they felt out of life, and and it's probably like this one try to make it seem more like from their perspective, like kind of trying to make you like feel like how they see the way they've been treated through life. You get
Right.
me? I don't know how that makes sense. Like how they've like from their perspective, how they are because of how they've been treated.
Right. I mean, and yeah, and he did show some important stuff about like how many black people were in Vietnam War, how many were back home, and then yeah, just how they thought about Vietnam. I almost think about how this movie would have been better if he just did it as a documentary or something, and he actually interviewed people that went to the Vietnam War, and then he just showed clips. I don't know, maybe that would have been better. But as a film, like as a movie, it's not like I don't think I'm a fan of it as far as a movie goes. Like I don't see myself watching this again, studying it again as a movie that I enjoyed watching. I mean, it's not like Black Klansman. Black Klansman had, I mean, it was a good story. This one
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it's a. In the end, like a movie has to have a great story. And in the end, I don't think it had some important elements in it. It had some good parts, but as a
Yeah.
story as a whole, I don't think
But
I
I think it's because
that
it
way.
felt too in the beginning I was kind of not necessarily confused, but it was at first I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like in the very beginning,
Yeah,
I
right.
was like, are they on vacation? Like you said, like are they gonna have flashbacks about their like what happened? They're on vacation doing this and that. But then they started like talking about like certain things, and I was like, why are they acting so like suspicious all of a sudden, like so weird? And then they bring up the fact of why they're actually there.
Right. Yeah.
So it kind of takes a little bit to like get to that point where you actually know, unless you already knew about it before. But I kind of a lot of times I go into a movie just like that,
Yeah.
and the movie I feel like a movie should do a good job in letting you understand what you're watching. You get me? Unless it's one of those movies that are meant to not be
Yeah.
straightforward.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think this was like that.
usually those are have like a twist or something.
Yeah,
But this one, yeah, when I started, it feels odd, right? It feels like like it doesn't set up like a movie does, and it just feels odd. Like something is off. It just feels like something's off. Like the rhythm of it, um, the tone of it was just weird. I mean, some shots were cool. Some of the flashback, how it like zooms into like this and then a wide
yeah,
shot. But like the flashbacks maybe would have been better if they were, I don't know, just more grittier, more personal. I don't know. It
it
feels
felt
like
almost like it felt almost like if they were like you were watching a little play, like a
yeah,
little play of their flashbacks.
yeah, exactly. And like I said, maybe that's again, maybe it's because these weren't the right actors for it. I mean, Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther. I mean, he was fine. He was good in the movie. It didn't bother me that they used the same actors for the flashbacks. I mean, yeah, they looked old, but I mean, that didn't bother me that much. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think he
mean they
wanted.
weren't doing a whole
Yeah,
lot.
I don't think they were going to use de aging or anything. But
Yeah, it was weird though that at the end they do show a picture of them and they like make them look young.
they did. I don't remember seeing
No,
paying
I think
attention.
I don't remember. It was at the end, but they show a picture and it's actually them, but like they made them look younger.
My favorite part in the film, though, I do say this one worked well and it was great. When the son was stepped on a landmine and they were trying to save him from
Set
it
them
and
off.
they
Yeah,
tied the rope. That part was great. But then the father and son relationship thing is just it was a roller
it's all over
coaster.
the place. Yeah, I feel like that's another thing that it felt like it didn't have a whole lot of direction because but I feel like maybe that was the point because it was trying to show like them. It didn't feel like a movie. It felt like if it was actually following this person's life. You get me?
Yeah.
In a way, because it was like like this guy, he's wrong in the head, like because of what he's gone through, and the way he's treating his son, the way he's talking to him, it felt too like if it was trying to be real in a way, is that like of how he treats his friends, how he treats random people, how he treats his son, and how he is by himself. And but it felt, because of that, it felt kind of weird, because it's like, okay, now we have this story between him and his son, which wasn't really going anywhere until the very end. It felt like it was kind of progressing, but then it completely like gets thrown away because
Yeah.
what happens. And then and then what else, like the little things of like how he's kind of having like he doesn't want to deal with certain people
Right.
because he's probably like he sees them as the enemy. But then there's other people that he doesn't mind, and it's like it's weird.
Yeah. And then he gets his redemption, I guess, when he forgives himself, I guess, for killing.
The guy.
I think a better redemption. Again, he could have that flashback or whatever, and that, but he needed to have like reconcile with his son for him to be fully
Yeah.
redeemed by the end of the
Or like
movie.
going back and helping them and dying there.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he
Helping
should
them.
have been the one who jumped on the grenade in the end, like the other guy did. The other guy
That
jumped.
part felt a little all of a sudden. It
Yeah,
was,
but it
but
would have been
yeah,
nice
it
if the
was,
other guy was the one who jumped on the grenade to save his son or whatever, or on a
yeah.
landmine. Which is I didn't. I guess I'm not too sure if that's and so much of an accurate portrayal. I mean, I don't know if that's how a grenade would react if someone jumped on top of it. I mean, I would think he would have been exploded into pieces, but
Mm,
I don't know. It looks like. I mean, obviously he's him. Sure, the bottom. I mean, I'm sure his torso is all blown up, but I would think he would be exploded into pieces. But I don't know. Maybe that's
I,
not how grenades
I don't
work.
know if they're like that strong,
Yeah,
but
I guess that's true.
maybe.
Yeah, but
But
I mean, like I said, it had some good parts and it had some important messages that he just wanted to give across. I don't know if he wanted to just focus on those messages, then he, like I said, he probably should have just done a documentary based on on African Americans in the Vietnam War and
or maybe.
talk about those black heroes that he mentioned in the movie. Talk about the first black guy who died in the Boston Massacre that he mentioned.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to add a story element to it,
Yeah, and that was the
like
thing.
to,
It just
but
wasn't a
it
great story.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't work out a whole lot. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe if you took off that story and made it more of like a, maybe not a documentary, but make it feel like a documentary where you're following these guys, and maybe focus more on the guy's mental issues, but without this story. So he's dealing with these mental issues as they have their little vacation. You get me?
Right.
And they're showing us the flashbacks and the things they go through. And he's getting a little worse and worse and worse as the movie progresses, up to the point where he forgives himself. You get, and he like comes out to his friends telling them what happened, that he's the one that shot uh, their friend. So maybe something like that would have been better,
Yeah.
something that deals more with like just them, and like I
It's
said,
make
like
it
his mental
more
issues.
personal, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, instead
But
of like this story.
yeah, it's crazy because I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and this has a 93% on the critics and a 60% on the audience.
Yeah, it's always like that. It's
Yeah.
always like
Sometimes it's on point. Sometimes like if it's a good movie, like it'll be like 90 critics, 80 audience, or like
yeah.
vice versa. But sometimes you get this
I think
where it's all over the place, and there's no way this would be a 93%. At least not for me.
yeah, I don't think so.
Sixty
Because
percent
but
on
I will say though, there was some moments that were really well done.
yeah.
Like you said, like there's some shots that were really well. There were some acting moments that were really well, like with Chadwick Boseman. Like his parts were really good. He's a good actor, and we know that. And the Paul guy, the one with the like problems. There were some moments that like were like really good uh, that he was like playing, and other than that, acting wise, the only one I really kind of liked was the one that survives. I don't remember their names. Oh, Otis. Otis was his name.
Was it? I remember the names.
Um, I kind of liked him. Like he was consistent throughout the entire movie. I felt.
Is he the one with the car dealership?
No, he was the one with had um the girlfriend, that lady that showed up.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and but yeah, I mean, other than it didn't really like none of the acting really like. I didn't think it was bad, but none of it like blew me away or like
Yeah, a lot of it
had
was
me
flat.
like none of it was very memorable or anything like that. And,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what parts I liked, which like I said, I feel like if they did more of that, it would focus more on that, it would have been a good movie. Was when they're like traveling in the boat and they're like showing like little
I was about to
clips
say,
of
yeah, that
him.
boat scene I liked,
Like,
but then
oh,
the
look at this.
restaurant scene at the end I did not like. At that night,
Oh, that same night.
yeah,
That was like
that
whatever.
was
It was a
dull.
little weird. Yeah.
It was just dull. I didn't that one lost, but the boat I like. The boat scene I like.
Yeah. And then because of that restaurant scene when he meets the French girl, because of that, like throughout the entire time that they're walking through the forest, I kept thinking about the freaking mines. I was like, they gotta play something in, like the mines, the mines, the mines. But they never did, to the point where I was like, I guess nothing's gonna happen. And then it eventually does.
Yeah, you would think they would have had more experience, like, or at least more
They
aware of.
would have at least thought about it, like to be more careful, especially the son, because he just heard about it. Like
Yeah,
girl just talked to him about it, and I kept thinking about it. I was like, because of her, because of the fact that she brought it up, I was like, is this gonna like play into it at one point? But it took so long to finally play into it that I figured it wasn't going to anymore. But that part, it wasn't like surprising either. Like like, oh shit, like he just blew up.
yeah, yeah,
Like
that's true.
you kind of see it coming.
Yeah, because of that. But yeah, like a couple of scenes were good as a whole. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a second watching later on one day I come across it and I'll feel differently. But as of now,
I don't know if I would watch it again
I don't think
because
so either. But there has been times where I've watched one movie and I thought it was okay, and then I watched it again and I was like, oh, it's a lot better second time.
yeah, I guess. But I felt like I kept finding myself like getting like distracted.
Yeah, same here.
Like I wasn't like really focused in the movie throughout the entire time. Especially because, well, I'm not gonna say especially because of how long it is, because there's other movies like Hateful Eight. It's a long ass movie, and I was in it throughout the entire time.
Speaking of Hateful Eight, have you seen the extended cut on Netflix?
No.
There's just he splits it into 4 different parts, and I think they're each an hour. Just extra scenes here and there. It was cool. I don't even notice which scenes were added that much, but it was
Yeah,
a nice rewatch.
I'll check it out.
But yeah, like you said,
'Cause, yeah,
it has to be captivating, and but movies like that, it comes down to the dialogue, and the dialogue in this one wasn't. You're
yeah,
just not in it. I mean, those were our thoughts. I mean, I'm sure I haven't met a lot of people who or interacted with people who watched it, but from what I see online, yeah, I see people who really loved it, and then, but I guess the audience, they're in the right. I mean, 60% sounds about right. It's way better,
yeah.
way more understandable than 90.
90 whatever.
And it's
Definitely.
ridiculous. There's no way it's 90%. Um,
It
yeah,
was a cool I guess like idea, trying to make it the way he did, like visually. But like you said, story wise, it just didn't really, it
yeah.
wasn't captivating. It didn't like keep me intrigued or anything.
I just feel like it's like one of those movies where it might get nominated for something, and if it doesn't win, there's an uproar for it not winning. But it's just like, why? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
But
know.
we'll see what
It
happens.
wasn't that. It was
Yeah.
like whatever.
But yeah, watch 12 Years a Slave. That one's you should watch that one. That was really good, powerful. Either way, yeah, those were our thoughts on The Five Bloods directed by Spike Lee. Let us know when you thought about it in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed it, I mean, are we in the wrong here? Are we missing something? Um, was there a different point to the movie? If so, let us know in the comments below. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share, guys. See ya.